I'll call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay. Commissioner Campbell. Here. Commissioner Kump. Here. Vice Chair Sarkia.
Here.
And Chairperson Reese.
Here. All right. Do we have any reordering of the agenda today?
No.
And that takes us to the approval of the minutes. I think we all got a corrected set of minutes. Does anyone have comments on those?
No. Move to approve.
I would just ask as part of the motion to approve that you just acknowledge that the printed copy would be made up.
Okay.
Okay. Now I move to approve. With the minutes. A second.
And for the approval of the minutes, Commissioner Campbell.
Aye.
Commissioner Kump.
Aye.
Vice Chair Sarkia.
Aye.
And Chairperson Reese.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to the point in our agenda where we have time for public comment for items not on the agenda. So any members of the audience that are wishing to address the Planning Commission on matters not on the agenda may do so at this time. No action will be taken on these items at this meeting. Please state your name and address for the record, and comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any general public comment tonight? Or is it for this item? Okay. Great.
John Gowan, 104 Six Flags Circle. I want to address our pending general plan update. This year, we are going to be revising the general plan, and I have been reviewing our existing general plan with an eye towards improvement, and particularly with respect to flooding. The safety element of the general plan is last in the current general plan, and I believe it should be first. The greatest threat to our community, I believe, is Zaca Creek and Thumbelina Creek historically. And the defects which have been observed over the last 30 years I've been a resident of Buellton relate to maintenance and easements. Right now, County Flood Control is maintaining the Zaca Creek easements, and they're incomplete. They do not include the Bu 17 project between Rancho de Maria common area and the San Ynez River. And this area, because it hasn't been maintained, flooded in January 9th of 2023, causing property damage to the Rancho de Maria subdivision common area. I'm informed there are no formal agreements between the city of Buellton and County Flood Control. And since we became a city in 1992, this appears to be a missed opportunity and requirement that the city, as a general law city, take control and establish a comprehensive flood control plan. By default, the county is still doing the work. The problems with flooding in our community, in Zaca Creek in particular, relate to obstructions, as happened in 2023, and debris control. We're allowing large pieces of debris to get into Zaca Creek and then be backed up at obstructions and causing the creek to divert into floodplains, which are not intended to be floodplains, and damaging private property. There are no trash racks that I have observed anywhere in Zaca Creek to keep obstructions out of the culverts that channelize Zaca Creek underneath McMurray, 246, 101, and South Avenue of the Flags. If any one of these culverts becomes obstructed, we're going to have a real mess on our hands. The last person who looked at this was Charles I. Klein, a property owner here in Buellton, along with Steve Licken, who was a retired flood control engineer from LA County. And he opined that the size and shape of the existing channelization was not adequate to carry the 100-year storm. The 100-year event is the basis for the flood control mentioned in the safety element, and I think that needs to be revisited. The consequences of not having an adequate general plan can be quite severe. There's a process in the government code within 90 days of an adoption of a government by a government of a general plan to challenge the general plan and suspend the permitting authority of the local agency. So this is something I think you really need to focus on and take a look at. And I would reorder the table of contents for the general plan, and I would put the safety element up front. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate the involvement, especially early on in this process. So thanks. Great. Do we have any other public comment before we dive in? I don't think so. Yes. Okay. Anything on the consent calendar? Not tonight. No continued public hearings, no new public hearings, and that takes us to other business. So we have a conceptual review of the Shell gas station remodel and expansion.
Yeah, so I was just gonna mention here, that this is the appropriate juncture, the agenda that was posted on the city website incorrectly listed the project that is part of the conceptual review. There is no decision to be made tonight, so you know, it's not gonna, there's nothing, there's no issue with that in terms of, you know, there's no public notice for a public hearing requirement. But should the chair and the commission wish to continue the item to make sure that it is properly posted on the agenda, we can certainly do that. I'm going to leave that up to the chair of the commission.
If it were the other way around, I would say yes, but since it's moving to a category that doesn't require public noticing.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that and clarify that and allow the commission to opine.
Great. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'd like to hear it. Okay.
Mhm. Probably a little bit of a effort here to get the screen share going. Is that showing up, folks? Okay, perfect. Great.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Well, good evening, Chair Reese and members of the Planning Commission. So the project that we have before you this evening is a conceptual review of the gas station, of the Shell gas station remodel and proposed expansion at 90 East Highway 246. And I'm going to go through a brief presentation, and there are representatives of Shell station and the applicant here tonight as well. So at the end of my presentation, at the Commission's pleasure, we can have them come up and say a few words as well. All right. So with that, I'm sure I get this. Is this? There we go. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned, it's located at 90 East Highway 246. And my cursor is pointing to the existing site is right here. There's two parcels that constitute the existing site right here. And this is the vacant parcel just to the east. Sorry, that the property owner has recently purchased. The entire site is approximately 2 acres. It's irregular in shape. And there are, as part of this proposed application, the existing buildings of the existing gas station, which are right here, and the convenience store, which is tucked underneath, would be demolished. The existing car wash would remain on site operational with proposed facade upgrades. The land use designation for this entire area is general commercial, and the zoning on the property is for let's see, my cursor, there we go. This portion of the property is CR, general commercial, but as we look at the parcel here, and then also the vacant parcel that was added, which is the expansion site, that area is within the Avenue Flag specific plan. And that's also has an underlying zoning designation of general commercial, but any development on that site would need to comply with the Avenue Flag specific plan requirements, the Art Deco design style. This particular site, the large vacant piece that was recently acquired, that is also designated in the zoning code and general plan as a AHAS site, which is an affordable housing overlay zone site. But because this project is proposing a commercial use and there's an existing commercial use on the site, the AHAS designation would not apply in this case. Most, if not the entire area, is within the 100-year flood zone, and we would be reviewing what requirements would apply as when they submitted the former application. So as I mentioned, the project is located within the Avenue Flag specific plan, except for a small portion. I'm going to point this out because this shows a little bit better. So the red, you can see, the cursor keeps. All right, okay. So the red boundary is the entire proposed site. This area right here is outside of the specific plan. It's where the existing car wash and a portion of the gas station are currently located. And this site is where a portion of the existing gas station is located. And that happens to fall within the specific plan boundary. This gas station has been here for a very long time, so some of these boundaries were put in place well after the gas station was established. As part of the specific plan, it was designated that no new gas stations would be allowed in any district except for District 1. So basically, this is in District 6, so new gas stations uses would not be permitted in the specific plan area without it could potentially invoke a amendment to the specific plan. But otherwise, specialty building types are encouraged on the specific plan for this site, and because of the irregular configuration of the site, the typical setbacks would be we'd be looking at flexibility with the setbacks because it is such a irregular site. So the proposed uses involve demolition of the existing 1,200 square foot convenience store, and I'll just refer to it as the C store on occasion for short brevity. Portion of the fuel canopy and 6 fuel dispensers. They're existing. 4 of the 6 fuel dispensers currently existing are in the specific plan area. And the proposal is to construct new a new 3,700 square foot convenience store and an expanded fuel canopy with 14 fuel dispensers. 12 of the 14 new fuel dispensers would be in the Avenue Flag specific plan area. And mentioned that the car wash would remain operational during the renovations, but they are looking at adding a type 20 beer and wine license to the convenience store for off-site consumption. They are proposing 41 parking spaces surrounding the convenience store with an additional 28 spaces underneath the fuel canopy. And at preliminary look at it, and this is over the minimum requirements that the zoning code requires. So it appears to be at a minimum, they have enough parking. They're also looking at a potential parcel merger. There's 3 separate parcels currently on site, and they're looking at merging that into one. The parcels are bisected by this specific plan boundary, so we're looking at some unique nuances that are presented by this situation that also may impact the type of permitting that we would need to have to go forward with. The access to the site is from Highway 246 via 2 existing driveways. And in the project description, they've stated that the hours of operation would be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Basically, they're open all the time. So this is the site layout. Again, I will try and use the cursor that likes to disappear very quickly. But here's the specific plan boundary that runs right here, and also is a parcel dividing line. So as you can see, the 2 existing fuel dispensers and the car wash are right here. And this is the new proposed configuration. The convenience store is here. The 41 parking spaces take up this area. There's circulation to this entire area being provided. One of the items that the applicant is working on is that there's currently an existing easement that it's right here, actually, comes in off of this driveway and goes around like this currently. It provides secondary access to the sideways inn, which is located right here. And the property owners are working on moving that easement. They will continue to provide the secondary access to sideways inn, but they would need to relocate the location of the easement to accommodate the proposed site plan. These are the elevations. This is the store, the convenience store. Has Art Deco design elements in it. The tower elements here. One of the things that I will point out that is part of the staff's comments, and the applicant is aware of this, that typically this has a faux wood background for their logo, and this typically is not an allowed material in the Art Deco design guidelines, and it is something that we have not allowed, and we went through this recently with the Arco gas station where they actually took out the faux wood background in order to comply with the specific plan. But otherwise, it's aesthetically pleasing design. There could be some more architectural decorative treatments, but these details will come out during the architectural review of the project, which would happen after the formal application is submitted. The car wash. Again, they're putting a facade on the car wash as best as they can to accommodate the Art Deco design elements and match with the design of the proposed building. And the gas canopy, it's a large gas canopy, but there are elements of architecture, Art Deco architectural ornamentation on the gas islands and the dispenser columns. So with that, I'll go through staff's preliminary comments. Again, this is a concept level review. The applicant has not yet submitted an application or their processing fees. So there has not been an in-depth analysis of the project that would occur after the application comes in. But these are the preliminary reviews that both the planning department and the public works department have on the project. And so I think some of this I've already pointed out on the site plans. The existing site, which is the easterly, here we go. This is the easterly parcel, has the existing car wash, 2 fuel pumps. And when I think I abbreviated this, so I could fit it all on the page, but it's really 2 fuel dispensers. And there are fuel pumps on either side of the each dispenser. So each dispenser is two sets of fuel pumps. So anyway, so there's 2 dispensers there and a portion of the gas canopy. That particular use is consistent with the CR zone, and these buildings are to be demolished. I'm sorry, except for the car wash. Yes. Right. In the CR zone, gas station uses are subject to a minor use permit requirement, and they would also need to take out a demolition permit at the appropriate time for taking down the buildings. So the existing site, which is just westerly of the first one, contains presently 4 fuel pumps and a portion of the gas canopy, and tucked underneath is the convenience store. Now, the convenience store provides staff for the fuel station and the car wash, so they would be overseeing the operations from the convenience store. And that is how the new convenience store would operate also. The employees would all be located inside of the store, and if there's any assistance needed to what are primarily self-serve type of facilities, such as the gas station, the car wash, those employees would be there to provide help. And then the expansion site is the large site, the most westerly site. And the convenience store use is potentially consistent with the specific plan. But we are looking further into the interpretation of how an expansion of an existing use on another site that would now be crossing into a vacant lot for the first development. And this is a use that would otherwise not be allowed in this particular area. So there's a lot of nuances that staff would be looking into further, and perhaps seeking some guidance from our city attorney also, because there's existing and proposed lot lines that would need to be moved, and a specific plan boundary, and exactly how that would all fit together. So we are raising the issues right now because these are things that we have observed, and the applicant is aware of some of these items because we've talked about them. But the answers to those would come out as we move forward with this application. So I mentioned and showed out on the site plans that they are providing 41 spaces around the convenience store. And there would be an additional 28 spaces underneath the fuel canopy for when the vehicles are fueling up. But one of the questions that staff was looking at is what provision is being made for larger vehicles that may frequent the gas station. They are introducing multi-fuel products into the pump. So there's going to be biodiesel, and I think it was E95, so different fuel types that may not be being provided currently. And so this may apply to a different or a new market. And because of the proposed expansion, and I just need to point out that they are proposing to go from 6 fuel dispensers to 14 fuel dispensers. is a substantial expansion, that it would be available to potentially more vehicles and more larger vehicles as well. Currently, there are large vehicles using their existing site, so it's reasonable to assume that they would continue to do that. Okay, I've mentioned about the architecture. It's generally consistent with Art Deco. Some of the details would still need to be fleshed out, and the project would go through a architectural review once the application is submitted, and there may be some modifications that would apply. The building height in the CR zone and in the Avenue Flex specific plan is 35 feet. The proposed heights appear to be consistent with this. The convenience store is 22 feet, the car wash is 16 feet, and the fuel canopy is 24 feet. We'll need to do some more detailed confirmations of the measurements once the application is submitted. A landscape plan will need to be provided with the formal application. There was no information submitted as far as a conceptual landscape plan. And it was noted in reviewing their site plan that there are some trees that would be impacted by the grading and the new circulation and the new improvements on the larger vacant lot that was acquired. So any of the native trees, the existing and proposed removals would need to be shown on site plans and grading plan and landscape plan that came in with the full submittal. And if any native trees were impacted, they would need to comply with our native tree ordinance. I mentioned the access and circulation already. In conversations with the applicant, they anticipate being able to utilize the existing access driveway aprons that are currently located on Highway 246. But as we have not reviewed in depth their proposed plans, or they have not submitted improvement plans, it remains to be seen if modifications, in fact, would or would not be required to the driveways. If modifications are required, this would need a Caltrans encroachment permit. And they have reached out preliminarily to Caltrans just to have some preliminary discussions with them. And Caltrans submitted a comment letter noting that they would need to apply for an encroachment permit, as I stated. But I will get to this in a minute. There's some of the other comments that they provided. The secondary access to sideways in, covered that already. Okay, so as far as traffic goes, the project description estimates an increase in daily vehicle traffic from the current approximate 1,200 trips to an estimated 1,500 trips, which is roughly a 25% increase. But as I mentioned, the proposed expansion just on the face of it is from 6 to 14 fuel dispensers, which is a substantially larger increase. And we have discussed this with the applicant, and I know that they're looking at a more efficient operation of the gas station than currently, and by providing more fuel dispensers, there's potentially less congestion. Those are questions that we're going to need to flesh out further, and those are questions that we could ask the applicant today, also in terms of how they view their operation and their efficiencies with this expansion of the gas station. But because this is located on Highway 246, which is a main thoroughfare through the city, and it is a state highway, traffic and circulation impacts will need to be analyzed that may result from this project, and it most likely that a traffic study will be required. And the last comment here, item C, in addition to the encroachment permit, Caltrans mentioned their concern also regarding the turning movements onto Highway 246 because of the existing, considerable amount of traffic volume that goes down Highway 246, and also the potential growth inducing impacts of the expansion of the gas station. Some additional comments by staff are that on-site turning movements and circulation flow needs to be shown on the project plans. And it was noted that the proposed trash enclosure could potentially conflict with the main vehicular access to the rear parking area. And they may wish to consider relocating the trash enclosure. I would like to add here, and these are comments that we'll be giving the applicant, that as part of the formal application process, plans would need to be submitted for review to Marburg, which is our trash collection service, and they would need to look at the location of the trash collection area and the proposed access. And you would need to get an approval letter for Marburg as part of the application process. And another item that was noted, that there at the northeast corner of the convenience store, that there are some proposed curbed areas that may conflict with circulation, particularly of large vehicles and trucks, and maybe an area that the applicant would consider looking into and revising to make the traffic flow more smoothly. And finally, item 9 here is this project is subject to Tier 4 stormwater improvements. As part of the formal application, a stormwater control plan would be required, and the types of BMPs and the locations of the BMPs, which are stormwater control measures, they would need to be shown on the plans. And with that, I will just note that the recommendation tonight is for the Planning Commission to provide comments on the conceptual plans. So both for staff and for the applicant to consider, and when they move forward with submitting a formal application. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have at this point, but I would also like to note that there's 2 members of the Shell station team here that would like to make a few words and say a few words. So it's your pleasure.
Thank you.
Call them up.
Good evening, commissioners. I promise I'll be brief. Don't have a lot to say. My name is John Yu. I work for the project applicant, Buellton. And on Zoom, we also have our general manager, June Kim, and our project architect, Fred Cohen, who can answer the more of the heady stuff. I'm just here to be the face of the company, more or less. Also, June Park, he has I don't know what he does really, but he knows some stuff, so I might defer to him on some matters. I'm here to speak on behalf of basically our company owner. His name is Peter Hong, and Peter has had that gas station for over 30 years. Basically, when he got it, he got it as is. He got it from Shell Oil as is. So he did not participate in the design and the build construction as it exists today. So, I think that the whole team is, the project team is super excited about this opportunity to do something really awesome there. And we saw the plan for Avenue of the Flags, and we're really excited. As we're kind of the southern portal or the gateway to the Avenue of the Flags specific plan, and we're kind of like the lead off hitter in a lineup. So we're excited for that opportunity. Let me just tell you a little bit about Peter. As far as a gas station and convenience store operators go, and I say this with as much humility as I can, but there's really no one better. I mean, every year in and year out, he's always winning awards for best in class. And right now, he's actually in France right now collecting another award from Shell as the best operator in the United States. And, I did offer it, being the unselfish guy I am, I did offer him to switch places with him. He could be here tonight and I could be in France, but he declined that offer. I don't know why. But just to give you an idea as far as like what makes, who we are and what we do. I just want to show you some photos of some recent projects that we did.
Okay.
And we have about 5 of them, just really quick.
So how would you like? Okay.
Yeah, I just need to be able to.
Yeah, so this is this was a brand new gas station that we built from the ground up in Santa Clarita. That first
Sorry,
picture.
I've got to share them each individually here, so
Okay.
I know, but it wasn't sharing. Zoom. Okay, is that the wrong one? Is that showing?
Yes.
Rose? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a new gas station that we built from the ground up, and we built that respectful of the community there in Santa Clarita, and it was a nice project, and we just want to turn the idea of gas stations on its head. Like people have that negative image about gas stations, so we really want to put some quality stuff into it. You get the next picture. And this just like an inside view of the same store. It's just everything's clean. It's not like crowded, and it's very spacious. Displays are nice. We have architectural elements in the inside. Next picture. It's another picture of Santa Clarita one. The gas pumps are gas pumps, but we try to make whatever the local rules or like specific plans require. We're playing ball and we're putting in what we need to do to make it look nice. Next picture. This new gas station that we built from the ground up again in Oxnard. This was a project that we're very proud of now. It just opened this month. We're excited about the potential there. The next one. The next one's my favorite.
Andrea's going to be a whiz at this process.
Yeah. So this one's my
Wow.
All right, sorry.
This was my favorite one because when you think of gas station bathrooms, the typical thing is you get a key from the inside the store. You go outside to a room somewhere on the outside, and you open up the door and you hope that there's no dead body inside, right? So we're turning that convention on its head. Right? Basically, the restroom is going to be something that is going to be best in class for us. So this is just an example of what we're putting the restrooms inside. We have maintenance schedules. It's always going to be clean, always going to be stocked, and that's our motto, our core principle for our snack run convenience store concept. So I just want to close in saying that I know gas stations are, there's an aversion in the client community to gas stations and so forth, and I know it's not sexy like some of the other uses, but it's still a necessity. Unfortunately, for some, it's still a needed a business in a community, and it does offer a great synergistic value to other businesses. So my hope is that I just wanted to present myself, put a face to this project, and just let you know that, our hope is that, we can do this project, and, partner with the city and doing something awesome there. And hopefully, like, maybe the pain and the pain and aggravation as we've had in other communities can be a little less, and we can streamline this is our best hope. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate the photos.
Just, are there any questions or?
Do you have any questions, Mr. Park?
I have a question. Is it currently 24-hour operated? I don't remember.
Yes, and I'll. By the way, Irma's been great. She's been helpful. I mean, we've been working together for many years now. But it is already 24/7,
The
and
convenience
just
store as well.
correct. And there's already beer and wine already in. We already have beer and wine, so it's nothing new.
So the
Yeah.
type 20 license isn't a new thing.
Yeah, it's already
Okay.
there. Yes.
And when was the sale reported?
Of the land.
Yeah, the land, the vacant land, the flag lot.
That was last year, and I have a story about how I tracked down the owner to try to get. But if you look at the configuration of that lot, it's like a really awkward flag lot that really there's not much use for it other than us to absorb it into our use. I think it's been sitting vacant forever, right? So I think I talked to the previous owner, and he obviously tried to make use out of it, but nothing really panned out. So I think it's really the only use we can make from as being absorbed into our gas station use.
You had a few questions as well.
Sure.
Thank you, first of all, for sharing the designs. They look great, and well, we have had some gas station stuff on the agenda recently. It's nice to see some this improvements to the space, also within the design guidelines as well. It's really nice looking. Couple questions in the Santa Clarita one. Do you know, was that it looks like a similar size lot and space, but it seemed to have fewer pumps. It's kind of my questions kind of all revolve around that same kind of thing. Why we're going from 6 to 14 pumps? What's the rationale there if we're only going up the 25% in daily users? Because while they look great, the plans do seem tight. I don't know, that's just me. I don't know, reading schematics and stuff like that. Just worried about traffic. So just kind of trying to understand where you guys are coming up with the numbers and in terms of space and in relation to.
Yeah, I
the
think
site- the
we've
site
had some recent discussions, and June, Kim, who's on Zoom, can chime in on this, but we realize that 14 is ambitious. I think that's a number that we can, we're kind of contemplating. But June, can you chime in?
Hello.
We hear you.
Okay. Nice to meet you all. My name is Jun Kim, General Manager for Conoco Oil. So the rationale behind why we're wanting to put in so many dispensers is because that site is already at its capacity with 6 pumps. In comparison to the one in Santa Clarita, that one is a little bit more tucked away from the highway in a neighborhood. And with the size of the lot that we have over there, that was the best number of we wouldn't want to put any more at that site, or else the turning radius, the passing lane would get too narrow. This site is plenty, actually, for what we have to work with in Southern California. It's sufficiently large enough to have 14 dispensers. We did cut down one because we wanted to, there was a choking point at that point in that role. But with the comments that we've received so far, we are willing to work with that and maybe reduce down one role. So having 11 dispensers and making the passing lanes larger, wider.
Great, thank you. Couple more questions. In terms of Mr. Hong, is he also the owner of the Santa Clarita and the Oxnard ones that you worked in as well?
Yes, so Santa Clarita one is on a ground lease, so we leased the
Okay.
land and we built it up. And then the Oxnard one we own.
Okay. And how many Shell or similar convenience store gas stations does Mr. Hong operate?
That's a good question. So I worked for him 12 years and I've known the guy for 40 years. So that number has been dynamic in the past, but he used to actually be as high as 60. He's including that one across the way, the USA on Highway 246. I don't know what it is now, but he kind of simplified. He's down to 12, right, June? I lost count. He's down.
13 Shell gas stations and 1 truck stop in Oxnard. And we also operate transportation department with the tankers going around to different gas stations, delivering, to the Arcos, to the Costcos, to ourselves. And we have 46 trucks. You may have seen them on the highway with the big Conoco logo on the side.
And then do you guys know kind of how many, like your daily customers are compared to the other gas stations in Buellton, where you guys sit in relation to, do you do the most business or somewhere close to?
And we do deliver to some of those gas stations, so we do know their volume. Most of those gas stations pump about half to a third. I think the one that's pumping the most is probably the one across the street from us, Conserve. I think they're pumping about maybe 2/3 our volume.
Okay, so you guys are the highest volume in the area.
That's my understanding.
And this is more of a last comment. I know that Shell is a gas station, so this might be an odd comment, but there is a large parking lot in the back. If there's any way we are at a lack of EV chargers in the area, quite a bit. So if there was any consideration to partner with a company that could provide electrical charging in the back where there is sufficient parking, that would be an added bonus.
Yeah, very good question. I think June, I think we have an answer for that. But June, you want to respond as
yes. So while we would like to keep that as a separate project, but there on the plan, you'll see that parking space in the back. We are looking to discuss with the Teslas and also the Shells, and so that there's possibly a partnership with them where we could put in the chargers, whether it would be with Tesla or Shell or unbranded other type of EV chargers.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, but Commissioner Campbell, that's something that it makes sense to us too. So
thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I see you're changing your logo.
Logo?
Shell to SR.
Oh, so that's that's our convenience store brand. There's only 12 of them, or but okay. It's we did trademark that, registered trademark for that. So it's kind of our convenience store brand.
Okay. I like to see smaller signs on
we can make it smaller
on gas stations and businesses. Other than that huge sign that you have. But I like the architecture idea that you're proposing. I like the updated restrooms. I know when my wife started having babies, instead of using restrooms up and down the coast at gas stations, we would stop at hotels so that she could be more comfortable. And I don't think, and as far as landscaping, I don't think there's any trees on the existing site, so you won't have to remove any of those. But there's a large pomegranate bush on the southwest side, I believe. I don't know if it's on the property or next to it, but I hope that stays.
Okay.
You sneaking in there to get pomegranate?
I like pomegranate.
Yeah,
Even
so
if
do
I don't
I.
eat them all the
I gotta-
time, it's nice to know that they're there.
When is harvest season for pomegranate?
Winter.
Um, will you have to install new fuel storage tanks as well?
June,
As
do you
the
have- like I said, I'm only the full face of the company. June is the brainiac. So June, are we gonna do new tanks?
Yes, we'll be installing two larger tanks. We'll be replacing the existing tanks with new tanks.
Okay,
So there'll be less liability environmentally. And also we will be we currently have diesel and gas. We will be adding E85. So we will cater to that customer base as well.
okay, great, because those tanks have been there quite a while.
Yes, absolutely true. And I think this is a great opportunity to change them out for us.
And will you be having propane as well?
Yes, we will at minimum have the exchange. We would consider having a bulk propane tank as well.
Okay. Gotcha. And you're better. Oh, yes, and later on, as we forge ahead, I'd like to see large vehicle turnarounds. What you have in mind for that? I like the more pumps. I know at times your current Shell station is just packed, and now that I have electric, but when I was just using fuel, I'd have to go to other gas stations. So I like the higher number of pumps, and that's
We can
all
do
I have.
15 if you like.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just wondering, you got some gorgeous oaks on the west side of the vacant lot.
Mm.
If you're able to retain those or planning to retain them.
Oaks, we didn't know
Is it
that.
oaks?
Like it?
It looked like there were some trees, which is why I mentioned that, but
You think they're pepper trees, June?
Okay, well, yeah, we can figure that out, but if there's a way to retain them and they are native, it'd be nice.
If they're oak, we'll be certainly sensitive to that.
Sure, sure. And they provide some screening regardless too. Let's see. I mean, right now we're over parked. And I would just say, like, I think the elevations look nice. I appreciated Irma's comment about the wood backing on the sign and agree with it. But the one elevation that actually is going to face the majority of your parking is the south elevation. And I mean, I think it would benefit from some landscape screening. And it does seem like with the additional parking in the back, I know you potentially have a purpose for that, but that there's probably some room to do a little bit of landscaping in the rear of that building to soften it up. Just if you could study that, that would be appreciated.
Definitely, we can do that.
The rest I have is just, oh, and during the tank replacement, I imagine they do like soil testing and potentially remediation. Okay, nice. Any other questions before we go to comments?
I just have one more question, which was kind of in a perfect world, how do you guys see the timing of this project? Oh, not in terms of months or years, but is it continue to operate the existing facility while you build the convenience store in the back? Or is it just shut down and do everything at once?
Yeah, June. Yeah, I think we're planning. We would need to shut down for a extended period. June, do you have an answer for that?
My estimation for this is that it would take us about 9 months to do the construction. And yeah, because we are replacing the canopies, removing the canopy and existing pumps and the C-store, we will be completely shut down for probably about 9 months.
Okay, that takes us to comments then. Do you have any final?
Yes.
Go for it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have any?
My comments or my questions, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some comments.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, just a couple comments. So I do agree. I'm looking, I'm thinking it might be the highest and best use of the land to expand what we have, right? What you have. I know that I've seen cars backed up on the highway waiting to get in to get fuel. You know, and I've seen kids running around the driveway and use the bathroom on the outside. And sometimes the fuel truck will block the driveway also. And I see this will provide more room for that. And I think so. We have the RV park right next. So I think, you know, like you said, there'd be synergy with the Flying Flags RV park and the sideways in. I will say that I don't know where you would relocate from staff comments, the trash enclosure. I mean, it's probably better there than next to the hotel itself. So that might be fine, but maybe with the loading back here, it could be problematic with the hotel. I mean, we want to be considerate of that. Maybe restrict the hours where they can load in the back. I think the sign will need to be modified to fit the Art Deco style.
Of course.
That's what I think. I think the aluminum planks would fit that style, so I recommend that. And the issue though is the amendment to the specific plan, since it doesn't. That's the big issue. So I don't know what that entails. I mean, we'll talk about that later, but it could be that's going to be something we have to do in order to allow this use on the District 6, which now it doesn't allow for this type of the gas station in District 6. So that's the big issue I see. But other than that, I mean, I do think this is the best use of the land. Probably.
I think everybody and I talked about that. I guess it's a little ambiguous as far as
Right.
how it's written. So we'll discuss
Right.
with her and see if that's needed or not. Right?
Just thoughts and things to think about.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The one thing I also had a comment about the trash enclosure. Just, you know, when a trash truck comes, like the natural turnaround would be to essentially follow that new proposed easement and come out. But then there's the curbs and the retaining walls where you would take that, you know, natural loop around, right? And I know that staff commented on the internal circulation. I also think it's probably the best place on site for the trash enclosure, but I'm curious about how I look forward to seeing how you demonstrate the site circulation. And then understandably, you're going to be speaking with the property owner to the east about the easement, relocating that easement. And I noticed, I think right now it's 30 feet wide and you're proposing to drop down a bit.
Yeah, that's still in flux, but yeah, we do have an agreement in principle. I've engaged in them already, and
Okay.
we do have an agreement that they are okay moving the easements.
Excellent. Great. I mean, I think I also just look forward to seeing the traffic study as staff mentioned, and then a landscape plan. I think it could do a lot on that site. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us? I have a little response for the trash enclosure location. Because it's one of those things that we don't want to see. So that, that's why we didn't want it in the, front court area. And so we thought that it'd be best over there. And like you mentioned, we want it away from the hotel as well. And then as far as the trash truck circulation, I don't know how it's going to travel. So they would come in, pick up our trash, and they don't have to make any kind of U-turns. They would just continue on that easement and I'm sure, their next pickup would be, the inn itself. So they would just continue forward and just circle around and exit through the side end exit. Or the other way around. They would come in, pick up the hotel trash first and then come pick up ours and then exit through our lot. So we thought that that'd probably be the best place, away from all the important areas.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that explanation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I guess because as I see it, there's really no big red flags that we should just pick up our losses and leave. I think we have some support in the commission is the sense I'm getting.
Yes.
But thank you very much.
Thank you. All righty. I have a couple closing items. Do we have any written communications to share? Okay. Any planning commissioner comments?
Thank you.
I feel like we need to be better at having something prepared, but and then the planning director report.
Just a couple of items. We do have a couple of events coming up, so I just wanted to remind the commission and the public, this Saturday, the 19th at 10 a.m. sharp is the Easter extravaganza at Riverview Park. Just a really fun event every year. But Easter egg hunt is at 10 a.m. sharp, so encourage everyone to try to get there a few minutes early. So if they have kids that would like to participate in the egg hunt, they're there before it's over. So, in addition to that, on Saturday, May 3rd, starting at 11:30, going to 4:30 at Riverview Park also is the Buellton Brew Fest. So a couple of fun events coming up here in the next month or so, and just wanted to mention those during the report. But that's all I
Thank you.
Quick
Yeah,
question.
this-
Sorry, was there an event this past Saturday on an Industrial Way that I don't?
Was that the
Lagerville.
Was that on the calendar previous? That kind of like just surprised me.
on the calendar?
Like the town calendar. And it's not a town event, so
It's not a city event.
Gotcha. Okay.
Big Mountain.
Okay.
I heard music from it.
Yeah.
That Easter egg hunt, those eggs go quickly. It's like
Last year when I was there,
It's a riot.
it was about 3 minutes.
yeah,
It's
maybe
so
not
good.
even. Yeah.
Something really fast. So
Great.
anyway, that's all I have this evening.
Excellent. Thank you. And then I think we can adjourn the meeting at 7:02.
Thank you.
Good job, lady.